Have you ever found a song that just clicks perfectly with your brain? I mean, so perfectly that instead of shuffling a playlist, you put that one single track on repeat for hours, maybe even for days?
You know the feeling, right? You find a track that just hits the exact right emotional or intellectual frequency, and you lock into it. Your mind just doesn't want anything else.
And let's be honest, people around you probably don't get it. They might find it annoying, or they'll ask you, how are you not completely bored yet? They might just assume you lack musical variety. Society can be pretty quick to judge these little quirks. But what if that assumption is totally wrong? What if listening to the same song on a loop isn't a quirky habit at all, but actually a powerful cognitive tool that your brain is using to manage its own brilliance? Okay, let's really dive into this. So the very first reason is all about how your brain is fundamentally wired to process information. For a deep thinker, listening to music is almost never just a passive experience. And here's the crucial point. When you listen to that song for the 20th time, you're not just listening. Your brain is actively decoding it piece by piece. Psychologists actually have a term for this. It's called hyperconnectivity. It basically means your mind doesn't really rest until it sees the whole picture. For a brain like this, there's this constant subconscious drive to find patterns and connections that other people just glide right over. It's not enough to just hear a song. Your brain wants to understand every single layer of it. And this is where the difference becomes crystal clear. An average person, they just hear the basic melody and they move on. But a hyper-analytical mind is different. With every single loop, you're noticing a subtle background instrument you missed before, or you're analyzing a tiny shift in tone, or finding a hidden rhythmic pattern. You listen on repeat until there are literally no secrets left to find. All right, reason number 2 is all about protection. For a mind that's always on, the world can be a really overwhelming place. That's where repetitive music comes in. It acts as a powerful mental shield. Your brain desperately needs something that psychologists call cognitive quiet. It's this idea of creating a predictable mental environment that helps reduce sensory overload. Because a highly active mind is always analyzing, always processing, it's way more vulnerable to mental exhaustion. You need a way to turn down the noise of the outside world just to function. And this is exactly how a repeated song pulls it off. By creating a totally predictable soundscape, your brain knows exactly what's coming next. It doesn't have to waste any of its precious energy processing new, unpredictable sounds. And that gives your overactive mind the space it needs to actually function without getting totally burned out by all the chaotic noise. And you know, this mental shield isn't just for external noise, it's for your internal world too. A lot of deep thinkers tend to intellectualize their feelings, using a process psychologists call cognitive distancing. It's this clever way of using logic to manage emotions, creating a controlled space to analyze what you're feeling from a safe distance. So when you loop a song, especially one that perfectly matches your current mood, you're creating a steady emotional baseline. It's a safe, controlled bubble where you can step back and really examine what you're feeling without being completely swept away by it. It's actually a pretty advanced form of emotional regulation. Now, the third big reason is all about focus. This habit is a subconscious tool your brain uses to engineer a state of deep, productive thought. Your brain probably prefers what Nobel Prize-winning psychologist Daniel Kahneman called System 2 thinking. This is the slow, analytical, and deliberate mode of thought, your deep thinking mode. But to stay in that state, you have to find a way to block out the fast-paced, distracting world that's constantly demanding your attention. A continuous song acts almost like a metronome for your mind. It stabilizes your entire environment, it blocks out distractions, and it gives your brain permission to pause, to analyze, and to reflect. It's a subconscious tool that keeps your thoughts perfectly organized and your focus totally locked in. And what's really fascinating here is how this taps into the brain's reward system. When a song hits just the right frequency for you, it triggers a dopamine reward. Your brain's curiosity system lights up, and it wants to stay in that highly rewarding state. So looping the song is how you lock yourself into that powerful mental flow. You can think of it like this. Your brain is always trying to find a delicate balance. You need enough background stimulation to keep your highly active mind engaged and to avoid boredom. But you can't have so much new information that it becomes a distraction. A song on repeat? It's the perfect solution. It provides just enough complexity to keep your brain happy without ever pulling your focus away. So the next time someone tells you to change the song, I want you to remember this. Your looping playlist isn't some weird quirk. It is a sophisticated cognitive tool that you are subconsciously using to regulate your energy, protect your peace, and dive deep into your own rich inner world. You don't have a bad habit, and you are not broken. Your brain is simply operating on a level of depth and complexity that, frankly, a lot of people just don't understand. It's really a sign of intense cognitive strength.
So, I'll leave you with this thought. What song is your mind decoding today? Think about it for a second. That track isn't just noise. It's the soundtrack to your focus, it's your shield, and it's the key to your deep thinking.